Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back for another Walking Dead All Out War campaign battle report. Today we are going to be playing through Chapter 4 of the Safety Behind Bars campaign, and this is called Chance Encounter. And the description says, while the others had gone on ahead and found the prison, Otis had stayed behind at the Greene family farm to tend to the livestock. Eventually he decided to forge on to catch up with his people. Unfortunately, he soon ran into trouble on the road, and only a chance encounter with a mysterious stranger offered any hope. And that's where we are at here. So if you want to jump ahead straight into the battle report itself, go down to the description and click on any of the timestamps there to go to any specific turn that you want to. If not, hang out here with me and we'll go over our survivors, talk about the board. So here we have our board. We've got it covered up with some nice Black Slate Studios terrain and some die-cast cars. You can click on the link up there to watch the terrain reviews for a couple of these kits. Some of them, like the billboard, isn't up yet, but it will be soon. We're going to have 12 walkers on the board to start here, and we're going to start out with Otis down there in the center of the street. And you can see over there peeking in behind the bus stop is Michonne with Mike and Terry. Now, she's not going to come on the board until the threat tracker reaches 8. And for this mission, we're going to start it on 4. All we have to do is get from one side of the board to the other side of the board, and then both survivors have to get off. Now, if at any point in the game, either survivor is removed as a casualty, or the threat tracker reaches maximum, the game is going to end. There are 5 supply tokens out there, so we have 1 at the front of the bar, 1 on the van, 1 on the Jeep, 1 at the billboard, and 1 over there inside of the bus stop. So one more spin around. Here's our board, and let's get into turn 1. Alright, so turn 1, the threat is going to be on 4, and we're going to start out down here with Otis because he is our only playable survivor at the start of this mission. So Otis is going to make a run action, and he's going to go about 6 inches to come up here into contact with the briefcase at the bus stop. And doing so is going to draw in the punk rock walker there on the corner. And that's going to be all of our actions for this phase. There are no kill zones to check because that's our only walker anywhere near a survivor. So we're going to go straight into our first event card, which is shooting at shadows. So +1 to the threat, and we'll be on 5. So this says all survivors with a nerve value lower than the current threat must shoot at the closest enemy model if they have a ranged weapon. Start the player with initiative. And then we get down to, if an eligible survivor has no functioning ranged weapon, it must run exactly as if they had rolled a run on the panic die. So, in this scenario, Otis is our only survivor on the board right now, and his nerve is medium. And Otis is equipped with a hatchet. The only thing we can do with this event card is going to be to increase the threat up to 5. So now we'll increase it by 1 again because of melee, and we're going to be at 6. And we'll go into the melee phase. Alright, and for melee combat, Otis has a red as his base. He is equipped with a hatchet, so he's going to add a white to that. And he's going to be rolling against 1 purple for the walker. Alright, so Otis has knocked that walker back an inch and prone. So that's going to be the end of combat. We're at the end phase now. We'll roll to see if that prone walker stands back up. So we'll roll the 50-50 die, and on a shield, the walker will stay prone, and on a blank, the walker will get back up. And because we're at solo play, we will up the threat at the end of turn 1 to 7, and start turn 2. Alright, so start of turn 2. Threat is already up to 7. So here we have Otis in contact with that supply marker. So we are going to spend 1 action to search that. And Otis is going to find an ammo reload. Alright, so we throw the ammo reload in our pack, and it doesn't look like it's going to be much use as of yet since we're carrying around a hatchet. And for Otis's second action, we're going to make an 8-inch run straight up the center of the board here, which will pull in the closest walker. And again, that's going to be all of our survivor actions for this phase. So we'll go into our second event card, and it will be the Rapture. So we're going to roll the red die and add that to our threat, and then all threat levels all prone walkers immediately stand up. And we have 1. So thankfully we can disregard the second part of this card. Alright, so we roll a red die, and we increase the threat by nothing. Alright, so that was our event card, and I realize now that I did not check the kill zones before we drew the event card. So if we come around here and we look at the walker by the Jeep, put that over top of him, or I guess it's easier if we put it over top of Otis, we can see that that walker is outside of the kill zone. So no one is going to move. So we'll go into melee combat. We'll spin Otis around so that he can properly face the walker behind him. We will up the threat by 1 to 8, which means that Michonne is going to come into play at the beginning of next turn, and we'll start the melee combat phase here. Alright, so again we have Otis with the red and the white against 1 purple. Alright, so this time Otis is able to get rid of the walker, and we still have 1 prone walker back there. So being in the end phase, we'll now roll to see if they stand back up. Alright, so the walker stays down. We are going to go to turn 3, up the threat by 1 to 9, and be at the top of medium threat. Alright, so we're at the top of turn 3, and the threat is up to 9. We are in medium threat, but now we can start playing with Michonne. So Michonne is going to start in that bottom corner there, and she has Mike and Terry with her, which are going to give her the mask scent special rule. So she's going to start the game by making a 8-inch run action up here past the bus stop, just in front of the walker in the gray shirt. So she comes flying up the board there, and because she causes noise with the mask scent, we have to roll the 50-50 die to see if she benefits from it. Alright, so we roll the 50-50 die here, and again on a badge, she is fine, and the walker stays out. And on the blank, the walker is going to move in as normal. Alright, so the mask scent does not help out Michonne this turn, and she's going to have to take on that walker in melee combat. Alright, so Otis looks over there and has no idea what's going on. He just sees someone dragging 2 walkers on chains behind them with a huge sword, about to cut another walker in half, and he says, "Holy crap, let's calm down and reduce the threat." So Otis' first action will be to try to reduce the threat, and we're going to stay at 11. Alright, so second action for Otis is just going to be to continue to try to get off of the board. So again, 8-inch run action straight up the center of the board here, and that's going to bring in the closest walker to him. And again, that's all of our survivor actions for this turn. So we'll go into our third event card, which is there's a storm coming. So +1 to the threat, and we're up to 10, and we're in medium threat. So the tension reaches a fever pitch. Add another 1, so we're at 11. And then immediately draw 2 more event cards, applying 1 at a time. Okay, next event card is Roamers, and we are still in medium threat. So each player rolls a blue die and moves that many eligible walkers in a direction of their choice. Alright, so we roll a 2, and we're going to start out with this police officer walker over here in front of the billboard. And we're going to move her a shamble distance in the direction of Otis, which brings her just outside of him. And then we're going to come around here to the walker near the Jeep. And he's going to make his way over towards Michonne. And he is going to make it all the way into contact with her. Alright, and the second event card will be to rouse lurkers. So +1 to the threat, and we are up to 12 now. Still in medium threat, so as in low, as in all quiet. So we have no discarded lurkers put back in. We're going to put white walkers in contact with each supply counter, and then bring blue walkers into play. Alright, so this many walkers in contact with each supply counter left. And then we're going to bring this many walkers on to the board edge. Alright, so after that whole string of events, we brought another 5 additional walkers onto the board. We put 1 in contact with each of the 4 remaining supply counters, and then we've had Walker Ronnie join us on the board edge right here. Now in this scenario, anytime walkers come onto play, they come on from the escape edge, of course, where we're trying to get off of. So event phase done. we're going to up the threat by 1 to 13 and go into the melee phase. All right, and we're going to start melee out with Otis again against one walker. All right, so it was a good round of combat for Otis. He is barely able to eliminate that walker from play. And now we'll come around to Michonne, who is going to be facing two walkers. Now, Michonne has a blue as her base melee, and a blue because of the katana that she is carrying. And she'll be rolling that against 3 purple dice this time for the walkers because of their outnumbering rule. So Michonne coming out wasting no time, just annihilating everything. She's able to remove one walker and knock the other prone. That's going to be all of the melee combat here. We have 2 prone walkers at the end of this turn, so we'll roll to see if they stand up now. All right, so this will be for the walker closest to the bus stop. And this is the walker that Michonne just knocked down. All right, so we'll up the threat by 1 to 14, and we are at the top of high threat. And we'll get ready to start turn 4. All right, guys, start of turn 4. The threat is at 14, so we are in high threat now. You can see how close Otis is to the edge, so we're going to start out with him. Before we can do anything, though, because he's at medium nerve, we have to take a panic check. All right, so Otis is going to go berserk, and what that means is he's all amped up and ready to fight whatever he can, which is exactly what I don't want him to do. It also increases the threat by 1, so we go from 14 to 15. It allows him to act normally, which is great because we get both actions. So the first thing we're going to do before I move him off of the board is to try and get him to reduce the threat. We take the threat back down to 14. All right, so Otis having successfully reduced the threat, for his second action, he's just going to move off of the board edge, which is going to leave us with Michonne back here. And for her first action, she also is going to try to reduce the threat. So we bring the threat back down to 13 in medium. And then for her second action, we're going to make an 8-inch run move up here in front of the Jeep. So we move up, dragging Mike and Terry along behind her, and that's going to attract the closest walker, which comes over and hits the front of the Jeep. And because we ran there and we made noise, we have to roll the 50-50 die to see if we can benefit from our mask scent rule. Alright, so we come up with a blank there for the mask scent, which means that in this kill zone phase, which we'll go to right now, that walker is going to be able to come into contact with me. So because of the kill zone, that walker comes around the Jeep, and Michonne will now be in contact with one walker. We'll look at our next event card. Okay, and we're gonna have won't stay down. So we are in medium threat, and says as in low threat, which says for each prone walker, so we're gonna roll to see if that prone walker stands up, and then after that, we're gonna roll a blue die and move that many walkers in a direction of our choice. So we started with a prone walker in the back there, and they're going to stay down. And now we are going to move this many walkers towards Michonne. Alright, so we're going to pick 2 walkers to move over towards Michonne, and we're going to pick some walkers from the far side of the board. So we'll take the Shane walker on the very far side, and then the walker eating the guts by the trash, and move him as well. Okay, so the walker eating moves a full shamble towards the center of the board, and Walker Shane walks into the back of the billboard. That will bring it to our combat phase, so we'll up the threat by 1, back up to 14 at high threat, and we'll have Michonne against a single walker. Alright, so the walkers are rolling really well, but it's hard to beat 2 blue in melee combat, and Michonne is able to take out that walker as well. that is going to be the end of this turn. We still have that one prone walker back there, so we'll roll to see if he stands back up. Finally, that walker is going to stand back up. We'll up the threat by 1 to 15 and get ready to start on turn 5. All right, and we are going to start turn 5. The threat is at 15, so we are at high threat, which is okay because all we're going to do for this turn is take Michonne, have her make a run move and get off of the board, and we will have finished off this scenario. So for Michonne's action, we can see that she's a run distance off of the board edge, so we're going to go ahead and move her about 6.5 inches and be off of the board. And with that, that is going to end this scenario. So nice quick battle report there, and we have Otis and Michonne have no real problems getting off of the board at all. If you like these, make sure you go down and give me a like for the video and subscribe to the channel. This was the 4th chapter from this expansion, which is actually halfway through. So we got 3 more left to go, 5, 6, and 7. Make sure you're a subscriber so you don't miss out on them. Come back. We're going back inside of the prison for the next video, so you don't want to miss that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.